Resolution.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's start with the clerk items. Item A, approval of the regular board meeting minute. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next three items are stemmed from a workshop that we had back in May of switching our regular, I'm not gonna call them dumb meters, but our regular electric meters to a smart meter system. So that's what these next three items are. So item B is to approve Landis GR Master Purchase License and Services Agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item C is Landis GYR Software as a Service Agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And item D is to approve the Landis GYR Support Agreement.
And I'll make the motion to approve that as well.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item E in the clerk is the water maintenance resignation. Courtney Conway served us for 14 years. We regretfully accept his resignation. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second,
Second with regret.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F is to approve, is it two attendees?
Yes.
To the Emerging Contaminants PFAS Conference in Lake George, New York on November 6th. I believe it was like a $15 fee and $22 for breakfast or
For
something. like that.
Jason Andrews and Carol Macy.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item G is Acorn Street temporary closure for Halloween night. There was a map included in the packet. The closure is from West Valley Road to Nash. And for just a couple out, 3 hours, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's always been a concern having vehicular traffic go through there. There's just so many trick-or-treaters and pedestrians. The police department are on board, so anyone
Not closing Greenwood just.
not this year, maybe next year. Nobody asked.
Yeah, I think last year that stretch of road in particular got really busy, so I think it'll be good and good to see how it goes. I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And item H is to approve the annual Halloween parade.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else, Anita?
No, that's it for me.
Treasurer items, we need to approve the warrant affidavit. Thank you, Jackie, for approving it before she headed overseas.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any new business? Old business?
Just a quick update on the comprehensive plan, where I think we've now gotten comment back from the Department of State. So it's just sort of like the next stage in that process. The SE group who we've been working with in the drafting are going to take a look at that. I think we're all going to take a look at it now, and hopefully we're not too far away from having a final draft.
It's been a long process, a lot of hands in there, so it'll be nice to
Yeah.
have something on paper.
Definitely.
Mayor items, the mayor is out of town right now.
Yep.
Commissioner reports, one thing I'll report on, we had a great business association meeting, it was at USA Luge. It was really neat, they actually gave us rides afterwards on the track, which was
That's
really
really
cool. And our November meeting is on election day, which is the 11th, I think. The 11th.
Fourth?
Four.
Is it? Well, then it's not an election day. It's on the 11th. And that's gonna be at the boxing and there are gonna be refreshments there. That's gonna be an evening meeting and everyone's inviting. Boxing, it's where the old hot yoga was, Placid Pond. Above Terry Robards or the Euromart.
Gotcha.
Any other commissioner reports?
No,
Fire department's been busy with
Well, I saw him a couple times today. on the
All
street.
day long.
It was a major accident,
Yeah, it was on Old Military.
yeah. Seven-
They were looking for a life flight for it, yeah,
Oh, no.
that was the last I heard.
People are doing okay.
Yeah.
I'll never-
There was one person and I knew they were extricated from the car.
Now we're on to public comments. It looks like there's a few here who might want to make a comment.
No, I'm here just to listen. Oh, you're just, okay, right. Can I come up?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on up. Play your room today.
Sit right next to you. Okay, so I just put together a little letter, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kathy Bliss. So the reason we are here tonight, we are asking the village and town board to give careful thought and consideration into implementing some local laws for some long-term property owners. Like there are for short-term property owners. So here's my little story. I lived in my house at 181 Hurley for 33 years. I've always loved my neighborhood until February 23, when everything changed. Paolo Magro purchased the property, and things have not really been the same since. He turned what was originally 2-bedroom apartments into 3-bedroom apartments. We never saw building permits for work being done, and we were told by the building inspector's office that he was just taking out garbage. Since his purchase of the property, there have been many groups of people living in the different apartments. There have been lots of tenants in multiple apartments, overcrowding for the amount of bedrooms that are in each apartment. Over the last few years, we've seen many things, truckfuls of mattresses being delivered in the middle of the night, people coming and going, and we never truly know who our neighbors are. To this day, the sheer number of people that are living in these apartments cause a great problem with the garbage. Over the last couple of years, there have been dumpsters, which I know you've skipped to, overflowing with garbage to the ground, which is a health hazard. We've seen rats running around our neighborhood. They have now switched to cans, which is really no answer to the problem because the cans just fill up quickly, and once again, the garbage is spilling onto the ground. It's usually a weekly occurrence. My neighbors and I have made many formal online complaints to the code enforcement office, and no one has received a response from them. There have been unregistered junk cars there. Right now, there's one truck that's been there for over 2 years, abandoned. I contacted the police department to have the situation dealt with on August 20th. 2 of the cars have been removed, but the one truck still remains. On August 4th, a group of people moved into apartment number 2. At the time of their moving in, there was 5 children and 6 adults living in one apartment. What we believe is to be a 2-bedroom apartment. We called and asked the code enforcement department if there were any regulations to this, and we were told no, that there are no limits to the number of people that can live in an apartment. We are very concerned with this. In the span of a 2-month time, I called the police 9 times for various issues such as domestic disturbances, noise disturbances, and welfare checks on the children. We witnessed multiple cars coming and going in all hours of the night, switching out of license plates on the vehicles that were there, and people driving unregistered vehicles with no plates. Our concern in all of this is that we feel the village and town at this point need to start looking on putting some kind of regulations on long-term rental owners as far as the number of people that are living in their apartments safely, proper garbage containment, so all of the neighborhood is not seeing overflowing garbage on the ground each week, and some kind of legal recourse for people living around those apartments, just like there are for short-term owners that have to have names on file if there's a noise disturbance, and some kind of recourse for ongoing issues, such as the ones that we've experienced at 197 Hurley Avenue. Everyone has the right to live peacefully in their home. Paolo Magro, as the owner of this property, should be held accountable for the maintenance of this property and the tenants that are renting these apartments from him. So we ask the board to give careful consideration to this matter. We would really hate to see this be an ongoing thing in our communities, and especially my neighborhood. So, and I did print out many portions of the local law, one of 2023, which is the short-term regulations. The purpose of that law was to establish comprehensive permitting regulations to safeguard the public health, safety, and welfare by regulating, controlling the use, occupancy, and maintenance of the short term, which I'm putting right long term into it because it's really the same thing. One of the portions of the law I found interesting was that it's talking about Lake Placid being a small residential resort community. And extensive short-term rentals endanger the residential character of the community and may cause disruption to peace, quiet, and enjoyment of neighboring homeowners. And I'm just gonna put a long-term place like that that has 5 apartments in it. It could cause just as much problems as one short-term rental. And trying to achieve balance with that. Another area that I highlighted was the occupancy requirements, and That's one thing that we really would like to see something looked at is. We just can't believe that in 2025 that there are really no regulations for the amount of people that can live in an apartment. And there, I know even in this law, it says that, you know, they stated for a 2-bedroom was the number of. 2 times the number of bedrooms that are in compliance with the New York State Building Code, so New York State has to have building code. On people in apartments, I'm assuming, yes,
I would imagine so.
yeah, but we've been told there are none.
Yes, but it also, as some of the stuff that I have researched, it does state. Even though New York State has laws, it does state that towns and villages can have their own. It's up to local. Yes, it's up to the local.
Another part of it is for provision shall be made for at least weekly garbage removal during rental times. Garbage containers shall succeed or secured with tight covers to prevent leakage, spilling odors, and placed where they are not clearly visible from the street or road except for waiting pickup. Well, this particular property right across from me, and this is what I look out at my front window. I have seen dumpsters overflowing, bags, garbage, crows eating out of it, and right now I see cans, blue cans that are really overflowing every week with garbage on the ground. So I'm just saying, if these are the things that have been in place for short term, which, you know, short term rentals may or may not be rented on a weekly basis, but for people that live across or near a long-term rental with multiple apartments, we're just thinking that 2025 should be their time that we have to start having some regulations put on things like this, because everybody's entitled to live peaceably, and, you know, it seems like a lot of time and effort was put into the short term, but for people that live next to long term, it can be just as much of a hassle, if not more so, because it's ongoing every day, 24/7. I'm sorry Jackie's on here tonight because she was helping us a lot with this last situation that was happening, and she actually told me that hopefully moving forward, you guys are gonna be talking about this, or something that you have said you would be talking about, so.
Yeah, we have been talking about it. I think,
Yeah.
you know, and as you know, she's been having conversations, and I think, you
Yeah.
know, bringing back, I think, some of the experience.
But the hardest part is,
Yeah.
we have no rights to go into someone's.
Oh, I'm not saying
No,
go
no,
into,
no.
but
I'm just saying we don't have, and that's where you need to do it. And I've looked at every back door and I can't find one, so we can actually inspect them. So Saranac Lake, when they had the fires and that, I knew the building inspector, and he could not go in because they can't, you can only go from the outside, only insurance, or
That's just right.
if there's a break in the fire code.
so how do you know that?
The city.
The insurance companies can go in anywhere because they would, but they're not. part
So
of us.
wouldn't you be able to know that, so if you have an apartment that's registered, whatever, you know, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom house, whatever. Now, I know when he bought this property, the previous owner, Missy Strack, she built those as 2-bedroom apartments. And they were quickly turned in, I know somebody personally that rented an apartment there for one night and they moved out. Because their bedroom was a sliding barn door that had been put up and they were calling it a bedroom. So I'm saying personally, I know people that have been in that apartment, and you can't just slap up a barn door and call it a bedroom. I don't think that's how it works, but I could be wrong. But as far as garbage and things like that go, I mean, there has to be some kind of,
We can look into all this and then at our next meeting. 'cause
yeah, so this is just our
everybody-
plea to you. I mean, this is just our start of, you know,
No,
Yeah.
it's very, very well written and everything else. Jackie and Art will be back and we will go
Yeah,
over.
do you have a copy of that you
I-
can share with us, or?
I can leave this with
photocopy
you.
it?
I can, yeah,
That would be
I can leave
great,
that.
then we can be sure to capture it and share it.
Yeah, so,
Wonderful.
yeah, I just, you know. For as much as, you know, I have a short-term rental and, you know, I'm told I can't have more than 2 people in mine, so I mean, there has to be. You know, so when we, and another great concern I have is that we have not been dealt with, I have made. At least 9 complaints to the building department.
Mhm.
Online formal complaints where the bottom of the box says, would you like a response? I have heard nothing. From any of
That's an
them.
issue too.
Yeah.
That is a huge issue and it
Oh.
concerns me greatly.
Mhm.
You know, and over the past, you know, course of, since you bought this property, I've, you know, received inquiries and I've been met with. Not much. It like, almost like I'm bothering them. And I was just saying how I feel, it's not a good response from our building department, they need to do better, they really do.
No, that's
It's good.
useful to know.
Yeah, and it's not me, Rachel Stanton lives across the street, she's made formal online complaints, Tina Stubbs, she's a neighbor across the street, she's made formal, none of us have heard one word.
And have you, in your conversations with Jackie, I'm assuming she's connected with them and relayed
I believe,
feedback to you?
I don't know if she's actually made contact with that
Okay.
as far as,
I'll take that, I'll follow that up,
but yeah,
and I'll also try to connect with Jackie, so. She's contactable.
yes, she is, well, no, and she was wonderful, and I have to tell you, we said this out because we went to the town meeting last week, the police were nothing but phenomenal, they were, every time I called, they showed up and they helped as much as they could, and they were, so I just wanna give a kudos to the police department, because they were great, so that's good to hear.
Thank you for all of the feedback.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
This city of Plattsburgh actually has a long-term rental inspection system. They charge the homeowners like $50 or $100. And it's like once every 2 years that those apartments are inspected.
Okay.
So you may want to see what their model is.
We'll let Tina go, but
So,
just on that one,
stuff that
on that one subject, Tina, just while we're on that one. I was told the only way that place will get inspected is a complaint from one of the tenants inside.
Hmm.
That once there is a complaint lodged from a tenant inside,
As far as the safety issue, yeah.
fire department, inspection, whatever can go in.
But that's
I would-
another problem too, because we've spoke to some of the
Generally,
tenants in the basement and they can't afford to lose.
they
their
can't, they don't
living, so
wanna,
they
they
won't
don't wanna.
make
rent
any
the boat.
complaints.
They know they'll get evicted if they say,
I personally know a woman that lived down there and she walked with a cane and she said, if there's ever a fire, I'll die down there, I'll never get out.
But they have to live there, so they can't do anything. Basically, everything that I have to say, my name is Tina Stubbs. I live at 19 Fairlane Drive, which is directly diagonally across from this house. So we have dealt with a lot of problems in the last few years. The last few months, it got a little crazy. You know, my main concern would be safety. And the nuisance and disorder in our neighborhood, it's been a problem. It's been neglected. You know, there are lots of laws that I've looked up as far as state laws, you know, throughout the United States, you know, there's HUD that says your property must adhere to a reasonable occupancy standard. There's an international property maintenance code that the state has requirements for occupancy, which goes by the size, by square footage of all the rooms. Fair Housing Act says that there's general guidelines that allows 2 people per bedroom plus 1 child. But it also states that that even though these laws are in New York State, your town or your village can have their own laws. New York State law does require that a clean, wholesome, attractive environment must be maintained. So, you know, our thing is that the town of North Elba has extensive laws and codes for short-term rentals, 28 pages of laws. And why don't we have anything, you know, there's some of the same things I highlighted that Kathy already, already stated. You know, there's all these regulations, we're caretakers, we take care of several vacation rentals. And we know we can only have so many people per bedrooms, garbage, or they'd be shut down. I looked into a few towns in New York State that have strict laws. So, you know, we don't have it, but hoping that we can propose this in the future. I don't know if any of you know where Amenia, New York is, but it's a beautiful area. They have very strict laws, and if things are not followed, then the homeowners are paying for it. The town will take care of it and the homeowners will pay for it. Part of their thing also added a right of entry. The enforcement officer shall have the right to enter and inspect at any reasonable hour, any premises where there's junk and problems and questions, you know, so these things can be done. Town of Webster, which is a suburb of Rochester, they have a 15-page maintenance code. That includes everything. This town is also listed as one of the nicest places to live in New York State. And the average house is worth over 100,000 less than what the average house is worth in Lake Placid. And, you know, we're a famous Olympic Village. We're a tourist town. We take pride in how our streets and property look. And just feel that something needs to be done with not just long-term rentals, but with what other properties look like. Like, I know we all, people that are sitting here, we all take pride in what our homes look like, and we all know what some properties look like. And I grew up 3 hours away from here, and it wasn't like that. And even on some of the city streets, you didn't see things that you see here. There has to be more enforcement on what is allowed in long-term rentals and what property looks like.
Okay, thanks for those examples, that's.
Do you have anything that
Yeah,
you want to leave us in writing also, or?
I mean, if you guys want this,
I mean,
it shows what other places have.
Yeah, we can look it up, and I know, like I said, I know that we've talked about this, and I know Jackie's, you know, done some homework. We haven't landed, and I think that, you know, the challenge is that the balance around the legality question, so.
You know, and I also want to also reiterate what she said. We've made many complaints, and we do have to check a box that says, do you want an answer back? And Lake Placid Village Police have gone above and beyond with every phone call that has been made. But the building department has they've just never answered anything.
It's frustrating.
And we're all paying their salaries.
Great. I'll follow that up.
I will check into that with Jackie. I know those people have moved out.
Yes, new people are moving in and right now.
I just showed me, I didn't believe they were, I couldn't see that they got.
We were also told at the town meeting by Emily Politi, when we mentioned the amount of people and J1s in and out of there at different times and I feel horrible that some of them have to live like they're living, and she told us that there are no J1s, Pablos or Pat, whoever his name is. Paolo said, no, there is none, so there is none, but it's not.
There's.
Yeah.
I didn't see J1s going in and out of there.
Well, they're sort of young foreign workers, I mean.
So I don't know what the, I don't know what it is.
And they could be year round.
Yeah, no, we've seen,
No,
they come and
they're
go,
not.
they're not year round,
No, but what I mean is, if you're not here for the 6 months,
right?
then you are here for the year. So
Yeah,
we
no,
had
it
two that
turns over
year.
much quicker than
Yeah,
that.
or it could
If
be
it's
people
that-
that are working for him in his various businesses, I don't know, but there's, you know, there's people that live there on scooters, they don't even have cars, scooters, bikes. Yeah.
And they need to be protected too, by the way, because, you know, we.
Well, it's the
we
safety
believe
issue.
they're-
Shouldn't have to be overcrowded.
They shouldn't have bunk beds with, you know, sharing bedrooms with people they don't know, and I know that is gone over there for a fact.
And he's getting rent per
Per
individual.
head, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Staff them up.
So
We'll get to work on
we'll
it.
get to work on it, and take this all to discussions and everything else. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much.
James?
You gotta unmute yourself.
You're muted.
How now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with tonight? I didn't get your names.
Oh, trustee Galvin.
Trustee
Allen? What's
Galvin.
that? Excuse me?
You have trustee.
You have 3
Galvin,
village board members, trustee Galvin, trustee Brennan, and trustee Quinn.
Hello,
And the village clerk.
Okay,
It-
yes.
yes,
Sorry,
and,
yeah, I've
yeah,
been on the same subject as for a year now. It's about the loss of the Pierhead to a different owner. And
That is nothing,
I have sent a recent email to to you trustees, so if you've read it, I had a few points, questions about ideas, suggestions on what you could do to alleviate the problem. And,
That, right now, we don't have the full board here, so we really can't have any, to let you know that there won't be a discussion tonight on this. We've discussed this through and through. And it's just gotta go back into looking at, but there's no decision gonna be made tonight.
yes, what are your thoughts on my ideas?
I have not gone over with our attorney or anything else yet, so I have no thoughts on those.
Well, would appreciate it if you could, do that as soon as possible.
I think part of what we're looking to balance is, the wider public benefit of the site as well, which is a major infrastructure for the community. So, I think that all that has to be taken into account as we move forward.
Yes, you give it a, serious thought, and have other ideas. What are you concerned that the Lansing family was renting out boat slips on your village land?
What? Who was?
The Paradox Marina, the underwater lands, do you know their meets and bounds, their boundaries, and if it were infringing on village lands?
That is something that would have to go through attorneys and have to go into APA, DEC and everything else. That is not that we know that it's village land.
It would be good to have, freshen up your survey and find what's going on out there.
All right, we can do that.
And I realized that you do have a marina, and you're just wasting it on the state. You're giving them free rents. For the first year, you're looking at a close to $500,000 gift to the state for forest rangers and DEC for I don't know what they possibly could do out there. Maybe they're protecting the smallmouth bass. I don't think that's real benefit for the village or anybody.
The benefit
The
is
benefit is to open up the pier heads on Lake Placid.
we are in a forever wild with land and water regulations, so nothing can be done unless those regulations are followed.
Well, I don't understand what you said. My other idea for you is to move the water treatment plant.
Yeah, and I think that's when I say that, we need to balance
About
out
30, that's
the
about
public.
30 million to do that.
I think just the upgrades alone were pretty significant that have just been made to that facility.
It would probably could be done fairly easily. I'm not taking, take a stick of dynamite to it and destroy everything or demolish it. Those machinery can be moved very easily. You wouldn't be losing the investment you made.
All right, that's good. All right, we'll take all
Making
this.
more investments in that water plant. It's just
We'll take this all into
moving
consideration.
that maybe across the street or a mile away down the road.
Yep, we will take this into consideration when we have a full board, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anyone have anything else?
I motion we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.